When I was a senior in high school, I had the opportunity to go to Dublin, Ireland with my band, marching band, and to march in the Dublin St. Patrick's Day Parade. And it was quite an exciting experience to look forward to. It was my first time abroad, and I was so excited to go. So we were going to start in Dublin, and then we were going to go to London and some of the places around there, and then we were going to end up in Paris, and the whole trip was just really exciting. So anyway, we started in Dublin and we marched in the parade, which was really fun and memorable. There were all of these snakes that were coming out of the walls in Dublin, and they were fake snakes. And anyway, they were fascinating decorations, and the people were also excited, and this was just a tremendously exciting day. Anyway, so afterwards, we had the opportunity to roam around Dublin in groups and just kind of see what we could find. And I bought a Irish wool sweater, and it was green and it was kind of cropped and it was so cute, and I wish I still had it, but I don't. Anyway, but my sister, who was on this trip with me, got something called a fairy cake. And I learned later that fairy cakes are pretty ubiquitous in Britain and in Ireland. But this cake, it's the one thing that I really remember from this trip. It was just soft and fragrant and sweet. There was nothing particularly amazing about its components, but it was just a really good little cake with a lovely little icing, and I have wanted it ever since. So in my celebration of St. Patrick's Day this year, I am remembering that day in Dublin and thinking about how a fairy cake is my favorite Irish food to remember that trip. This batter, you can see it came together really, really easily. So this recipe should work just fine with gluten-free or with gluten flour, regular wheat flour. If you are making this with gluten-free flour, you'll want to add a half teaspoon of xanthan gum if your mix does not contain xanthan gum. And you'll also want to make sure that you use cupcake papers in the dough, in the pans, because for some reason that I do not understand, gluten-free batter just really sticks. So anyway. These little cakes will bake for about 10 to 15 minutes at 350 degrees. So this glaze is a really simple glaze that is similar to the glaze I use on my sugar cookies, and it is a loose glaze that will just kind of melt onto the top of the cookie or the cupcakes, and we're going to tint it green because of St. Patrick's Day, although traditionally I think it's more often pink. I think we might add just a smidgen more milk because the texture is not quite right. And this doesn't require a whole lot of icing, just a little kiss on the top of each fairy cake. There, that's a much better consistency. And then we will tint it green, just a light green. maybe a little darker. It kind of looks sickly. Fairy cakes, in my understanding, are meant to be something that are made for and with children. So they are very simply dressed with a little drip of icing that is a very simple icing to put together, and a small sprinkle of decorations if you would like, although that's not entirely necessary. And there you have it, fairy cakes. Check out the recipe at dinnerandrealtime.com, and I hope you have a lovely St. Patrick's Day.